Hi everyone, this is Rhinar Meataxe deck tech from Calling Valencia. But first of all, I just wanted to showcase a little bit of the souvenirs I got from the weekend. The weekend was amazing. Seriously, had so much fun playing the deck, playing with some friends, meeting other people, the artists as well. So first of all, here I have my first souvenir. This is a welcome to Wraith Alpha sand sketched plan, graded and signed by the GOAT, Eugene C. This is something amazing. A friend of mine told me that this was available and I told him, buy it, please buy it for me. Then I have, some extra tickets from Calling Valencia. Amazing stuff. This is a great souvenir as well for the future. I have this amazing and astonishing design and art from Adolfo Navarro. He's an artist, a Spanish artist from Valencia. He was there during the weekend and a friend of mine gifted this piece of art with his signature here. Breakneck battery, incredible card, so powerful. I think it's gonna be the next band card from the Brute Pool. And finally, we have here this cutie, this little rock with the number 19. It's coming from Carolina, one of the best cosplayers of Fabtcg, and thanks to her and Carlota and Cholito, I got it from Worlds Philadelphia, so thank you so much again. And now let's start with the real deck tech. So yes, this is it. I actually played Ravenous Meataxe at Calling Valencia with my Golf Rhinar, and I actually play it as a Golf Rhinar, I swear. So yeah, why did I play Ravenous Meataxe Rhinar for the Calling? Actually, because I was testing with a friend, with Bronze, a friend of mine, a very good friend of mine, and we were testing Rhinar for the Calling. We were testing traditional Rhinar with claws, and he kind of gave up because you need to run many blues. And we played Pulpins, Wild Rides, and he tended to discard Blood Rushes or Blues after playing Wild Rides or Pulpins, so he decided that that kind of deck wasn't for him, and he was started playing and testing Verdance online, and 5 days before the Calling, 6 days before the Calling, he sent me a picture of a Rhinar who smashed and destroyed his Verdance completely several times, and he asked him what kind of build is he playing, and they were playing Ravenous Meataxe, and I couldn't believe it. So I asked him to take some pictures of the graveyard and the deck. He sent me those pictures, and then I said, okay, this is kind of crazy, but why not? Let's try it. And I didn't have time because of work, family, and everything. And the Calling was a couple of days ahead of us. So I asked two incredible guys, two amazing people that I know. First of all was Sigma. Sigma is a brute aficionado. We all know Sigma. He's everywhere. Discord, X, Blue Sky, YouTube. He breathes brute and he lives brute. So I asked him, okay, Sigma, this sound may crazy, but I have these pictures, and would you do me a favor? Can you create a February list with these pictures, these cards, and try to create build as well the sideboard, because we had some core cards but not all of the cards. So he said, of course, I'm gonna do it, and he did it. I'm so thankful. Sigma, thank you so much again. I mean, if one day this deck becomes popular or meta or strong, well, first of all, the person that was playing the deck, Talisar, is the first, right, to deserve all the credit, but also Sigma, because he landed the list with sideboards, 2 copies, 3 copies of really interesting cards. And then he doesn't have much time to test online or the Flesh and Blood. So I asked another guy, Stuart, as well, an incredible guy, brute player as well. He played Rhinar, RKO, many Rhinar decks, Claws, Club, any kind of deck. And I said, okay, Stuart, I'm missing like reps on this list. I have to play the Calling in 3 days. Can you maybe test this list on Talisar or your armories if you have this week before I go to Valencia, so you can give me some feedback? And he said, okay, why not? He also brewed different kind of list with some minor changes, especially the gloves that we'll talk later about, some different sideboard options, but definitely he played the list and he loved it, and he found that it was very powerful and that it might have a chance. So I said, okay, let's go, I need to try it. So I took this list to my armory on Thursday night, just before going to Valencia on Friday. The calling was on Saturday, so I actually played 3 rounds of armory, and then 2 more before and 2 more after. So in total, like 7 games. I lost all of them. I was about to win 1, but I couldn't, and the rest of them were miserably. So yeah, let's start with the deck. So let's start with the blues, and this is it. We don't run more blues in the main deck. We have 3 copies of the new blue 6 from the armory deck, Rhinar, Alpha Instinct, 3 copies. Why? Well, just because it's a 6. Then we have our beloved and best brute card ever, Record Rump, blue as well. 3 more blues, 3 more 6s, and then we run 2 copies of Sand Sketched Plan. This is a miss, this is not a 6. And why do we run this? Because of maybe the lack of go again or action points in the list. So we run 2 copies of this to fetch a card that we might think is useful and get 2 action points. Actually, this is it. We are running 60 cards normally in the deck, and we tend to play 8 or maybe 9 or 10 blues. We have some blues in the sideboard, but this is it. Ravenous Meataxe ask for 6s. 2 for 3 discarding a non-attack or a non-6 is rough, is horrible. So we need to discard C6, intimidate, and get the buff. So it's 2 cards or one card, actually 5, because we're not getting fatigued by any deck, thanks to the Intimidate and thanks to the damage that we present turn by turn. So yeah, we need 6s, and our only misses are Sand Sketched Plan in the blue count. So because we run so few blues, we run so many yellows. We run 9 copies or 9 cards and 3 copies each. So we run 27 yellows. Ravenous Meataxe asks for 2 resources, so these are all pitching cards together with the blues. And we have some interesting and some maybe not so good cards in the yellow slots. Well, the first cards I would say are the most important ones for this deck are Beast Within, Sea Legs, Agile Wind Up, and the most of them, probably the most Vigorous Smash Up. This new card from the Super Slam set is incredible in this deck. Because of Ravenous Meataxe drawing and discarding a card, you normally don't know what you're drawing or discarding, so Vigorous Smash Ups are very useful for 2 things here. You know your top of the deck, so you can know if you are missing or not, if you want that card to be discarded or not. Potentially it helps you dig faster for your power cards, and it gives you that extra resource point that is very needed in this deck because we run so few blues. It's true that we run many yellows, but if we want to do several attacks during the turn, we need resources, so that extra resource is very useful at the start of the turn. You will see why. Then we have Assault and Battery. It's useful because it's a 6, can get discarded, and then actually if you start the game, and you can maybe set up some agility tokens. Then we have Send Back In and Stronger Survive for the disruption part of the deck. Agile Wind Up again, you need Go Again in this deck because we don't have claws, so we don't have like natural extenders. Sea Legs, the same, ROMs for have wider turns, and Beast Within just to have more cards when we have a huge turn coming. And finally, a card that I didn't test much because, as I said, we didn't have time to test the list, was Unexpected Backhand. The original list had it, and I said why not? When you win a clash, revealing this, deal 1 damage to the other hero. So, we have this Vigorous Smash Up. We have more Vigorous Smash Up in red. The sideboard, we have Reckless Stampede as well. Sideboard, we have Clash of Agility, so we have like 10 or 11 cards that clash. So this card could add some extra damage. But I would say after the weekend, this is the card that I'm going to swap the first and try other things. So this is the yellow count. So let's continue with the reds. First of all, we have Swim Big and Show Strength. These are the easiest ones. 2 for 8. So much power. Then we have one card that you won't see much at Rhinar decks. Some they run 1 copy, some they don't run it at all. It's a Skullcrack, Majestic from Dynasty. We run 3 copies, and this is because we are lacking some resources at some points. So we want to have this card in the deck to get discarded, again gain 1 extra resource and play as smooth as possible. Then we have one right, of course, for the go again starter. We have Bearfangs, that's no go again started, but it allows us to draw this card, and if we are lucky, and we kind of know the top of the deck thanks to Vigorous Smash Up and other cards, if we see a sea legs, we play, we intimidate, we attack for 8, and we get a rum. What's not to like? And then we have similarly Savage Fist. Savage Fist is very powerful in this deck because it costs 1, so with 1 vigor that we have from the Vigorous Smash Up, we can actually play it with just 1 card in hand. And if we know the top of the deck, thanks to that Vigorous Smash Up, we can pocket a powerful arsenal target, or decide that the card that was on top wasn't a good arsenal target, so sink it and try to get a better arsenal target. So these are the reds, and then we will talk about the sideboard. So starting with equipment, these are the cards that we are running. We are not running Scabskin Leathers as the main leg equipment. We are running Beaten Trackers, and Beaten Trackers are incredible and are one, if not the most important card in this deck, because of Ravenous Meataxe and because of Bearfangs, because of Savage Fist. We have many random discards that trigger Beaten Trackers, and we can decide if we want to extend our turn or not. We are not relying on rolling, we are relying on, okay, let's start with Ravenous Meataxe. I can start with Ravenous Meataxe, and I started several turns with Ravenous Meataxe, and then after the discarding, I decided if I want to go wide with the Beaten Trackers, because I drew, for example, Wall Ride, so starting with 5 go again, intimidating, and then continue with that go again, and maybe you had an agility token, so you can start with Ravenous Meataxe for 5 go again, then play something like Bearfangs, trigger, pop the trackers, and then get another attack together with the ROM. It's really powerful. So apart from Beaten Trackers, we are running Scaling, Flashback, Apex, Bonebreaker, and Savage Chaz. As you will see, some folks are already testing with this list, and they are like Stuart, for example. He started just from the beginning, I believe, changing the Apex with the new gloves from Super Slam, the Tyrannical T-Rex. I will try it. I don't know if it's a better option or not. I must say that I didn't have much resources left at the end of my turn, so I don't know how many times I will activate the T-Rex, but this was really powerful. You know, you can have easily 5 points of value out of your glove, so for me that was the key equipment. And then I run Skullhorn, normal gloves, and Scabskin Leathers. Scabskin Leathers was used when going second, for example, against Dorinthia. That was a tip from Sigma, actually, because they tend to dominate cards on turn 0 that can put you in a bad position, so you have more equipment to block. Also against Syndra, you could swap Scab Skin Leathers instead of Beaten Trackers if you need to block more to prevent from the trigger from Mask of Momentum. But yeah, Beaten Trackers are the key legs equipment, and the Scab Skin Leathers are for other situations. Then I run a Skullhorn and Nurun Gloves for, well, all the arcane heroes. Nurun Gloves are very, well, the key piece for me against Vincent, for example. And then a Skullhorn together with Nurun Gloves for Kano. And finally a Skullhorn only for Verdance. I didn't run AB against Florian, for example, that I play at Calling, and then I play only Skullhorn against Verdance, because if we are going to pay the pings with our Nurun Gloves, the game is actually already dead, like the card. So we need to be fast, we need to be aggressive. And Skullhorn, it's really powerful against Verdance because you can have an extra Intimidate and pop trackers to finish the game. And actually I played 2 games against Verdance. I won like 11-0 and 17-0 thanks to a Skullhorn at some point that I drew so many reds and I needed blue or yellow, so that helped me. So that's the sideboard for the equipment part. Okay, and finally we're talking about the sideboard options for the deck. Well, a bit of everything, I would say. We run Splatter Skull for the disrupting effect against heroes that tend to want to keep their cards, for example Syndra, and many aggro decks. We had Pulping when going first against the aggro matchups, as well when going against the heroes that do not run the reacts. We had Erase Face for disruption part as well, like Splatter Skull against Syndra, Auxilio, Dash IO again. So another 6, and that can be discarded, but has an extra effect on hit. Then we run, as I said before, Vigorous Smash Up, the red copy, for those matchups where we go second and maybe the opponent will attack. So we have an extra chance to draw this card and get dig faster and get a resource at the beginning of our turn. We had Reckless Stampede 2 copies for those matchups like Verdance, or where you know that you're gonna win the class and you can push some extra damage. We run 2 copies of blue Class of Agility. Again, when going second, you side this in and you try to block with it, and then start your turn 1 with 1 agility already. We run, and I ran actually, 1 copy of Tearling from Limb and 1 extra copy of Sand Sketched Plan. This probably I will change it to a second Tearling from Limb, because of the when going first I would add both of them to increase the chances of have a powerful turn 0. And then a card that I loved during the weekend and that I really didn't test at all before the calling was the Song of Sinu. Beautiful card. I hope one day Alexandra, the cosplayer, we cosplay her because she is incredible. She already did Cast Bones and she will crush it with this one. And Song of Sinu, very, very powerful card against aggro decks. This is actually a 0 for 4. You know your top of the deck. You can play with it, try to get a Silex discarded, a Beast Within discarded, and if you don't have cards in hand, you play Song of Sinu, get the +4, and you pitch a yellow. You play Ravenous Meataxe, you intimidate, and you hit for 9 intimidate with only 2 cards. So yeah, this card felt amazing during the weekend. I will try more. This is on the sideboard. Maybe it will go on the main board, but I think it's not that useful against other heroes. So for the aggro matchups, this is incredible. For the more blocking and defensive heroes, Blood Rush Bellow is still better spiking turns. And yeah, that's it. The only card that I would change now, it's the one that I showed you before, Unexpected Backhand. And I'm gonna try and test this card, Kick the Hornet's Nest. When an opponent's effect, put this into your graveyard from anywhere, create a Confidence, Might, Toughness, and Vigor token. It blocks 3, it's a 6, it's a yellow. And it can help with the Guardian matchup. If we see more and more Guardians like Goliath that we saw this weekend performing very well, that they run these cards on hit effects, like the 2 attacks that they run together with a non-attack that gives Dominate, and you discard a card, 2 cards actually. So this can be very useful for that matchup, and also against Marionette, that now is very, very famous, very, very meta, I would say, and that they crashed the top tables at Calling Valencia. And I faced one at the side event on Friday afternoon, and I won. It was very close, but they played 3 Codex of Inertia and 2 Codex of Frailty. So this can help for that matchup. I will test it. Yeah, I would say that's the deck. I played first of all against the Gravy. They went first, and I won the game. I would say Gravy is not that easy to play with Ravenous Meataxe because you can clear the allies as efficiently as with Claws or even with Club. But the idea and the approach is to go face, and that's it. We present so much damage that we can kill Gravy before they set up so many allies. Then I went against Florian. I started first, and I tried to intimidate and get some value. I didn't do that. I used Arsenal Pass, and I actually won again. It was quite interesting game, no AB, and I think we are favored as well into the Earth heroes. Then I played against Syndra, against Daniele Frattarelli. He went first and I lost. He is an incredible player, and I couldn't present so much damage before they present lethal. So that was it. I missed some Song of Sinew, showing another Song of Sinew. Had to do some weird things to get value. But yeah. Then miserable loss against Dorinthia. I played against Gianluigi, the same team of Daniele. I was at 1, he was at 4. I blocked with Vigorous Smash Up, For 6, I discarded an Agile Wind-Up, and I kept a 6 in my hand. I have Savage Fist in arsenal, so with the Vigor, and and a Beast Within that I saw on top of the deck. I said, okay, I'm gonna start with 6, go again, drawing a card. They will need to block with 2 cards. They were left with only 1 card in hand. I knew that their arsenal was an Iron Song response. So I secured a yellow for Ravenous Meataxe. I had a Beast Within in the graveyard already. I pitched a Beast Within, and when I played the Ravenous Meataxe, I drew this card, Beast Within, Intimidate. I was actually hitting for 5 lethal, but my Beast Within killed me. So yeah, terrible. From then I faced a Kasai. Terrible matchup, I would say. Warriors are very difficult for brutes in general, and with this build, I'm not sure. I don't have many reps. I don't have many reps with its deck against Kasai, but yeah, 10-0. Then I face Syndra against Daniel Correas as well, incredible player from the Sunflower Samurai team, and I won. And finally against Dorinthia again, so I faced 3 warriors and I lost. I didn't face any Verdants at Calling, but then I played 2 games because I wanted to test against Verdants, and I thought this deck was powerful against Verdants. I played 2 games with a friend of mine that is main Wizard, main Verdants, and I won 11 and 17-0 both of the games. So yeah, this is the deck. This is the deck. If you have any questions, leave a comment. I will leave the list that I run at Calling Valencia in the description, and I will also put the list that I'm going to try for the future. So if you have any questions, just let me know, and bye bye.